Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Syairah together with Haikal, Nursyahirah and Arbaenah will present to you about our final year project entitled Biological Wastewater Treatment Comparative Method. We are going to talk about the background of study which include introduction and objective. Besides, we are going to explain about our findings which divided into algae, fungi, bacteria and yeast, and finally the conclusion.
Without further ado, I will proceed with introduction of biological wastewater treatment. Biological wastewater treatment is a treatment that uses natural cycles that support the decomposition of organic substances in order to break down organic waste using normal cellular processes. Biological treatments rely on small organisms, and those organisms are algae, fungi, bacteria, and yeast. Furthermore, the use of biological treatments is preferred over chemical treatments because it is cost-effective in the long run, which using natural microorganisms to treat the wastewater, and it is eco-friendly as well as safe. Meanwhile, chemical treatment is quite expensive and not completely safe because the uses of chemicals to remove the pollutants in the wastewater.
The objective is to compare microorganism used, which are algae, fungi, bacteria, and yeast in biological wastewater treatment from the previous researcher findings.
Hi, it's me again, Syairah. Right now, I will explain to you about the usage of algae in biological wastewater treatment. So, what is algae? Algae are microorganisms which exist in habitats that range from seas, rivers, and lakes to the wetlands, brackish waters, as well as the snow, which means that algae are microorganisms that easy to find. There are numerous types of algae, for instance, green algae, blue-green algae, brown-green algae, and red algae. Algae have many advantages in wastewater treatment since algae can minimize the need of chemical oxygen demand, COD, and biochemical oxygen demand, BOD. Algae can also eradicate excessive nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus, as well as algae are able to remove heavy metals and suspended solids. Let's proceed to the algae in biological wastewater treatment. The most common used algae is Corella vulgaris species, which comes from the group of green algae. And the treatment pond usually used is high rate algal pond, HRAP. HRAP is more preferred rather than algal bacterial pond and integrated pond because HRAP has a high efficiency quality since it requires just a few days for the treatment. Unlike the algal bacterial pond and integrated pond, it takes up to months and weeks for the treatment to occur. In addition, HRAP also show a good performance and it required low energy for the treatment. On the other hand, algae can be used in numerous types of wastewater, for instance, swine wastewater, domestic wastewater, and dairy wastewater. Algae also have the ability to improve biomass recovery and it have potential in biodiesel application. Finally, it is proven that algae have a good performance in biological wastewater treatment. As stated here, algae are able to remove COD up to 90%, BOD up to 85%, nitrate up to 100%, which is completely removable. Phosphate is 97%, and the other substance like suspended solid, ammonia, total inorganic nitrogen, and also tetracycline is 100%. As you can see on the left, I insert the picture of algae that usually used in my findings rather than Corella vulgaris, that is Oscillatoria species, which comes from the group of red algae. So that's it for algae.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nursyahirah. I will present about biological wastewater treatment from the previous researcher finding. There are various types of microorganisms that been used in biological wastewater treatment. So I have made a research on fungi. Fungi is a kingdom of usually multicellular eukaryotic organisms that are heterotroph. Heterotroph means that they cannot make their own food, and fungi have important roles in nutrient cycling in an ecosystem. Fungi are usually classified in four divisions, which are Cyrthidiomycota, Zygomycota, Ascomycota, and also the Basidiomycota. Next is the function of fungi in wastewater treatment. The fungi can be used to derive valuable biochemicals and can also be used as a protein source. Other than that, fungi also play a significant role in biochemical oxygen demand removal. It also can help to reduce toxicity in the wastewater. Next, we move to the next point, which is fungi in biological wastewater treatment. Fungi can be used in various types of wastewater, such as hospital wastewater that contain hazardous substances, textile wastewater, and also olive mill wastewater. Based on my research, I found out that white rat fungi is the most common used fungi in biological wastewater treatment. This is because white rat fungal vectors could be an efficient technology to remove macropollutants from specific wastewater streams. Referring to the article and journals I have studied, I was able to formulate the percentage of removal of the substance in biological wastewater treatment. Fungi can remove 80% of chemical oxygen demand, 36.71% of phosphate, 62.48% of nitrate, and lastly 100% of the other substance. That's all from me. Thank you.
After that is bacteria. Bacteria are microscopic organisms that thrive in a variety of environments, such as soil, water, plants, animals, radioactive waste, deep in the earth's crust, Arctic ice and glaciers, hot springs, and so on, and also are invisible to the naked eye. Some bacteria are harmful, but most serve a useful purpose. The bacteria can be classified using a few different criteria which can be distinguished by the nature of their cell walls, by their shape, or by differences in their genetic makeup. But most common way to classify the bacteria is by their shape. For example, a spear-shaped Kochi, Rats bacilli, and spiral shape is Spirilla. Next, the function of bacteria in the wastewater treatment is to use a biological treatment to remove dissolved and fine suspended organic matter and indirectly minimize the need of COD and BOD as well as eradicate excessive nutrients from wastewater. As you can see, these two pictures are examples of bacteria species present in the wastewater, which are Proteobacteria and Bacillus flexus. Next, bacteria in biological wastewater treatment. As for the method used for this biological wastewater treatment, are activated sludge and oxidation pond, where oxygen is required for aerobic digestion, which will promote microbial growth in the wastewater. Oxygen is needed by the bacteria to allow biodegradation to occur. The supplied oxygen is utilized by bacteria in the wastewater to break down the suspended organic matter, and the solids settle down called as activated sludge. The removal percentage of COD is 80%, BOD 80%, nitrogen 71%, phenol 99%, sulfur 86%, and total suspended solids is 50% in the wastewater treatment using bacteria.
Hi, my name is Arbaenah Binti Hamsi and I am going to present about biological wastewater treatment using yeast. First, yeasts are eukaryotic, single-celled microorganisms and classified as members of the fungus kingdom. Yeasts are unicellular organisms that evolved from multicellular ancestors, with some species having the ability to develop multicellular characteristics by forming strings of connected budding cells known as pseudohyphae or false hyphae. Next, uses of yeast. Yeast has many uses such as baking, cooking, and microbiology purposes. For this topic, the yeast is used for wastewater treatment. Since there are many uses of yeast, there are also many types of yeast available. So for wastewater treatment, the type of yeast is Candida albicans, Torula, Candida tropicalis, and Rhodotorula glutenis. But actually, there are many other types of yeast. Next, function of yeast in wastewater treatment. It is to treat wastewater and remove or reduce COD level or chemical oxygen demand level, as well as to remove other organic substances or compounds such as ammonium, nitrogen, and phosphorus. If you can, the two picture is the picture of Candida tropicalis and Rhodotorula glutenis. Okay, so the most used yeast in the wastewater treatment is the from Candida groups and Rhodotorula groups. From the Candida group, it is the Candida tropicalis, and from Rhodotorula group, it is Rhodotorula glutenis. So yeast can be used in variety types of wastewater such as olive meal wastewater, monosodium glutamate wastewater, refined soybean wastewater, and also heavy oil wastewater. Next is the percentage removal of using yeast. Okay, first is the COD, which is 90.2%. For nitrate, it is 70.52%. Phosphate, 67.46%, and the other substance is 81.81%. Okay, that is the percentage removal of using yeast in wastewater treatment. It is taken from the high percent of the COD removal and as well as nitrate removal, phosphate, and the other substance. So that's all from me. Based on from the topic biological wastewater treatment using yeast. Thank you.
Before we end our presentation, I would like to conclude our research which achieved the objective. From the review, we can identify that algae, bacteria, fungi, and yeast have high performance and efficiency in removing the pollutants in wastewater. These organisms are mainly to extract COD, BOD, nitrate, phosphate, and the other substances. However, each of the organisms has specific substance that they can eliminate. For example, this review showed that algae are used for the biomass recovery, bacteria are used for the removal of recalcitrants, while fungi can remove color, caffeine, pharmaceutical active compound, and yeast are able to remove oil. The data here show that highest percentage of removal from the algae, bacteria, yeast, and fungi. For the COD removal, the highest removal are by yeast and algae with the amount of 90%. BOD also by algae with the amount of 85%. Nitrate by algae as well, which is the complete removal 100%. And last but not least, phosphate also by the algae about 97%. From this review, we can also identify that fungi and algae are able to remove antibiotics, for example, tetracycline, and fungi and yeast also can remove aromatic compound, for example, phenol. So that's all from us. Thank you.